The hull screamed. It wasn't a metaphorical scream, but the actual shearing of titanium alloy under immense thermal stress as the particle lance grazed the starboard flank. Jack slid across the polished deck plates, his mag boots sparking against the floor in a shower of white-hot confetti. The air smelled of ozone and superheated metal, an electric, invigorating scent that cleared the sinuses instantly. He wasn't scared. He was operating on pure adrenaline and the singular, defiant logic of a mechanic refusing to let someone scratch his paint. A warning klaxon blared in a rhythmic, high-tempo beat, synchronizing with the thrumming vibration of the engines beneath his feet. Divert power to the forward deflectors. Jax roared, his hands dancing over the holographic interface with the precision of a concert pianist. The ship shuddered, a sleeping giant waking up bad-tempered. It was ironic. Only yesterday these hands, now deftly rerouting plasma conduits to prevent a breach, had been trembling while signing bankruptcy papers for a salvage license. The searing heat of the laser fire outside felt a universe away from the cool, air-conditioned sterility of the bank, where he had bet his last credits on a rumor and a wreck. They called the vessel the Aegis, a decommissioned military heavy lifter floating in the Lagrange point like a forgotten monument to precursor tech. But when Jax cracked the airlock, he didn't find a hollow shell. He found a treasure map disguised as a navigation core. The logs weren't just data, they were a legacy. A murdered philanthropist family had hidden their entire fortune here, locked behind biometric keys that responded to only one thing: pure human ingenuity. The Galactic Council had written the special office scrap, mere debris to be catalogued and forgotten. Jack saw it for what it really was, an apex predator waiting for a pilot. But secrets burned bright in the void, and the Crimson Cartel had tracked the sudden thermal bloom of the reactivated reactor. Now, 3 interceptors buzzed around the Aegis like angry hornets, their lasers painting the hull in violent strokes of orange and red. Jack scrambled to the engineering console. He didn't have weapon systems online yet. What he did have was an oversized FTL drive and a shield generator designed to withstand a supernova. Spark, route all auxiliary power to the structural integrity fields, Jax commanded. The ship's AI avatar flickered into existence, a beacon of blue light in the chaos. That is not standard protocol, Captain. You will fuse the relays. Standard protocol doesn't win dogfights, Spark. Physics is just a suggestion when you have Terran spirit. Jack slammed the throttle forward. The ship didn't just accelerate, it lurched with Mach-speed ferocity. The deck plates groaned under the G-force, a symphony of stress and power. This was a classic sci-fi maneuver, the kind that separates the bold from the dead. He wasn't running away. He was turning the massive bulk of the Aegis into a kinetic impact weapon. The nearest interceptor realized too late that the salvage ship wasn't fleeing. It was charging. The Aegis clipped the fighter's wing, the collision registering as a massive jolt that nearly threw Jax from his chair. The enemy ship spiraled into the void, a chaotic firework against the stars. 1 down, 2 to go. Direct hit confirmed, Spark noted, her voice tinged with program surprise. Hull integrity holding at 80%. That was efficient. That was humanity. Jax grinned, wiping sweat from his brow. We improvise. But the victory was short-lived. Sensors screamed a new warning as a massive shadow swallowed the starlight ahead. The cartel cruiser was dropping out of warp, its weapon ports glowing with lethal intent. This wasn't just a skirmish anymore. This was a science fiction story coming to life, and the real test of their unbreakable bond was just beginning. The tactical display lit up like a supernova, bathing the cockpit in a harsh crimson glow as the cartel cruiser charged its main batteries. The sheer scale of the enemy vessel eclipsed the stars, a monolith of black steel designed to intimidate entire systems. But intimidation requires fear, and Jax was currently too busy rewriting the laws of orbital mechanics to feel afraid. Spark, drop the containment safeties on the FTL drive, Jax ordered, his fingers flying across the controls. We're not jumping, we're pulse-loading the shields. That will result in a localized thermal bloom capable of blinding sensors for 3,000 kilometers, Spark replied, her holographic form vibrating with the ship's escalating power output. It is also highly irregular. Irregular is my middle name, Jax quipped. Broadcast the legacy files on all frequencies. Tag the Galactic Council and every independent hauler in the sector. Let them know what the cartel is trying to steal. The transmission burst outward, a data-dense spear of truth piercing the jamming field. Suddenly, the void wasn't so empty. From the asteroid belt, a dozen signatures flared to life-mining barges, high-speed couriers, and salvage tugs. This was the community support Jax had banked on, the unspoken brotherhood of the vacuum. They weren't soldiers, but they possessed a uniquely Terran spirit. They saw one of their own standing against a bully, and they revved their engines in answer. "This is Hauler Red 6. A gritty voice crackled over the comms. "We read the files, Jax. That money belongs to the Orphans, not the syndicates. We're forming a kinetic screen." The civilian fleet swarmed the cruiser, creating a chaotic cloud of debris and drone fire that confused the warship's targeting computers. It was the ultimate display of human ingenuity, a weaponized distraction. "Now," Jax yelled. He diverted the Aegis's massive heavy-lift tractor beams, focusing them into a singular tight point. This was precursor tech at its finest, repurposed by a desperate mechanic. The beam didn't pull. It twisted. The cruiser's starboard engine nacelle groaned under the impossible gravitational shear. The metal buckling with a sound that vibrated through the vacuum, felt rather than heard. The enemy ship listed violently, its firing arc ruined. Shields at maximum, ramming speed. Jax didn't just fly, he danced with the massive vessel. The Aegis surged forward, slamming its reinforced prow into the exposed flank of the cruiser. The impact was a thunderclap of force. Sparks cascaded like waterfalls in zero-G. The cruiser's systems cascaded into failure, its lights dying out as the Aegis stood triumphant, an apex predator reclaiming its territory. 6 months later, the screams of metal and the roar of combat were replaced by a sound far more powerful: laughter. The Aegis no longer drifted in the dark. It was docked in high orbit above a terraformed colony world, its hull gleaming with fresh white paint and the vibrant insignia of the Starlight Refuge. The legacy fortune had done more than repair the ship. It had transformed it. Jax walked down the central corridor, the deck plates humming with a warm, steady vibration. Where missile racks once stood, classrooms now overlooked the curvature of the planet below. Sunlight streamed through the reinforced viewports, illuminating dust motes that danced in the air like golden fireflies. "Atmospheric regulation is optimal," Spark chimed in, projecting herself onto a wall panel. "And the new hydroponics bay is producing strawberries at 200% efficiency. The children are pleased." Jack stopped by the observation deck. A group of displaced kids, refugees from the border conflicts, pressed their faces against the glass, pointing at the stars with wonder rather than fear. They were safe. The unbreakable bond between the crew and these children had turned a weapon of war into a sanctuary of peace. He rested his hand on the bulkhead, feeling the ship's pulse. It wasn't a wreck anymore. It was a promise kept. The Galactic Council had hailed it as a miracle of rehabilitation, but Jax knew the truth. It was just good engineering, a lot of heart, and the audacity to believe that even a derelict could save the world. He looked out at the infinite horizon, a smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. The engine of the future was running smooth.